Hi everyone. So I've been asked about this question quite a lot. That what is advice for me if I have recently failed my MRCOG exams? And I thought I'll do a video because then I can, try and get to all of you and just share what I think about this and also how you can pick up yourself and move on. Um, so I'll share some of the stories about previous candidates that they've shared with me. I'll share some of the stories of my colleagues who've been in these positions and have had quite a lot of difficulty passing the exam. And I'm just hoping that this will benefit somebody out there, and it will just be that clicking moment where when you finish listening to this video, you realize, this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to get through this exam because this exam is not an impossible exam. It's easy to pass, but you have to put in the effort. Um, it's a difficult exam for sure, but it's not an impossible exam to pass. So the fact that you failed now or once doesn't mean that this is the end all and the be all of this. So, firstly, I know you'll be so disheartened and so disappointed because you worked so hard um, to pass this exam, and then suddenly when you find out when you get the results, that's not a reflection of what you have put in. And the first thing you do is just lose hope and think, oh, I can't do it, especially if this is also not just your first failure, but also when you failed this exam a few times, it's very, very easy to get into that nutshell and think, that's it, I can't do this exam anymore. Or should I even be doing it? Or should I look at something else? Or you just want to completely just change your path and not have to do this exam again, which is completely fine to feel that way and to think that way because it is difficult. It is difficult. Failure is difficult, and most of us who've been doctors would know that they were the cream of the class. So they were the ones who were doing really, really well throughout their academic career. And then to have failures like this in a postgrad exam can be so, so, so off-putting. And I totally get that. Um, but let me reassure you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't completely lose hope. There is nothing impossible about this exam that you're unable to do. It's just about putting in that right effort, which I'll be talking to you on onwards in this presentation. And if you put that effort in, then you will get through. There is no magic formula. There is no quick guide to say, look, do this and this is it. It is a hard exam and it does require a lot of effort. And in my opinion, that's where a lot of people, that's where people don't make it, is they underestimate the effort that's required to be put in to do this exam. So please don't lose hope. I know of colleagues and I know of people who have done this exam even up to 10 times, constantly failed this exam, but just kept going and going and going and they passed it. So if you failed it this time, success is on its way. Just know that. Know that success is on its way. And people who have passed, have done nothing out of the ordinary. All they've done is put in the effort where effort is needed, and that's by being working smart. So you have to work hard, but in a smart way. And that's when you will get through this exam. So the next question that I very routinely get asked in a context where a student has failed an exam is, should I attempt the next exam or should I wait and give it a year before I do the next before I attempt it again? Now, obviously, your life circumstances, I don't know about them and I would not be able to comment on that, but my advice would be if you've done the exam this time and you failed it, please just do the next exam. Just reattempt it. Because the more time that you leave in between the attempts, your knowledge level markedly goes down, really markedly goes down. So you will notice that um, your knowledge level, even a couple of weeks after the exam is already deteriorated. And the longer you leave it, the longer it will, your knowledge is completely going to go basically zero, and then having to restart all of that again is, trust me, a lot of hard work. And so if you have spent, I don't know, 6 months revising for it this time, you may not need to do, a lot the next time, but it might just be tweaking your, tact in terms of how you tackle this exam, and that'll get you through. So do not waste any attempts. And for candidates in the UK, you've only got 6 attempts to do the exam in. So you don't want to waste any of the attempts, because it will affect your progression to the next year. So for example, if you are taking the MRCOG part 1, you have to have had it passed by the end of ST2, because if you haven't, then your progression to ST3 will be delayed. Similarly, if you haven't passed your part 2 and 3 by the end of ST5, your progression into ST6 will be delayed. So there is that kind of a timeline to it as well. So you don't want to waste any attempts. You just want to go for the next one once again and reattempt it with a positive heart and thought that you will do it this time, because you've changed your tactic. It's difficult, but you'll do it. Now, when I say change of tactic, now a lot of the candidates that I speak to who have, failed an exam recently, when I talk to them about what were you doing this time and how did you approach the exam, they will all come up, and I mean this, they will all come up with the same answer, and that is, oh, I did so much reading, I did so much reading, I did so many notes, and I still didn't get through. Um, but can I just say that reading and making notes is absolutely an essential part of this exam, because no way you can do this exam without reading. Um, but you have to do questions. You have to do lots and lots of questions, because the syllabus for the MRCOG exams is not small. It's not like you read the 10 guidelines and this is it. This exam has hundreds of guidelines, hundreds of talk articles. It's impossible for anybody, and I mean this, to read every single talk article and every single, because it doesn't just end at the guidelines and talk articles. It's then you've got the scientific impact papers, and then you've got the embrace reports, and it's just never ending. So it's impossible for anybody to be able to read all of that extremely well and hold that information in your head. It's absolutely impossible. So where you need to be tactful is by doing those questions, because you say you did, I don't know, 80 guidelines, and your mind now feels like it's ready to burst, because that's how much knowledge you're holding in. It's impossible to keep putting in extra and extra data in there. So if you do questions and apply that knowledge, you will then be able to focus on the areas that you're really weak at, because when you get that question wrong, you immediately realize, oh, I'm not doing so well in this guideline. I thought I'd read it really well, and I thought I'd understood it, but when the question has been put forward to me, I can't even recall what the numbers were or what the guideline talked about. So that's where you'll realize where your weaknesses are. And when you realize your weaknesses, you'll then be able to go back and refresh your knowledge on those weaknesses. And that's how you will build this constant memory over time. But if you just read the guideline, make your notes, read the guidelines, make your notes, read, 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 it's not enough, because you will not cover everything. There will be a talk question, or there'll be a question from the MRACE report that, somewhere there will be something put forward to you, and you will have no idea, because you didn't get a chance to cover it in your 6 months or whatever many months of your revision, because it's impossible to cover everything that's been put out there, in terms of how many talks that you need to read, in terms of how many guidelines. It's not just the green top, it's the NICE, it's the FSRH, the BASH guidelines, the scientific impact papers. So there is just absolutely an enormous amount of reading to do. So if you're somebody who thinks you'll just read and get through this exam, I'm afraid to say you need to change your tactic and do lots of questions. Now, when I mean lots of questions, let me elaborate this a bit as well. So if you need to do at least 4,000 4,000 new questions to be able to pass that exam really well. 4,000 new questions, meaning that you're covering 4,000 different topics, different talks, different parts of the syllabus. That's when you will pass that exam comfortably. Comfortably. Just focus and just find out books, find out online resources, find out there's so many question presentations that I have done on my channel, and I will be doing more as well. Just any questions you find out, you know, you can come, you get your hands on, do them. So do the questions. And if you do 4,000 of those questions, because they'll cover 4,000 different topics. So I don't mean that you sign up to a resource that's got 1,000 questions and you do it four times and you say, oh, I've done 4,000 questions. No, that's not what I mean. I mean 4,000 new questions. So if you do 4,000 new questions, which cover different topics, you will pass that exam absolutely comfortably. And I absolutely mean this. So change your tactic, focus on a lot of questions that you can find anywhere, whether it's in the book. Don't think, oh, this book is really old. What's the point of doing this? These questions? Just do them because they still cover the syllabus and the topics that will be asked in your MRCOG exams. Now, I do want to say that I offer personalized advice and lessons as well. Information about this will be below this video. It's also on my channel page. So if you want to book a personalized lesson with me, or you want some advice about booking a lesson and getting more help, then please get in contact and get in touch with me. It's something that we can arrange as to when there is mutual time between us, and it doesn't you don't have to, you're not committed to any number of lessons. You decide how many lessons you need. You decide what sort of personalized advice you need. You may be somebody who's struggling to do questions, you don't know how to approach them. You may be somebody who's struggling with EMQs. Whatever help you need, I'm available. So just drop me a line, drop me a message, either email me on my email address, which I'll be posting down below down this video. I'll also be giving you the link to book a lesson, so you can directly go ahead and book a lesson. I'm afraid there'll be a charge for it, just because I already am doing quite a lot in terms of using my free time to be making these videos. So I do I can't offer those lessons free of charge, but they will be absolutely useful for you, because that's where we can target your personalized plan as to how you are going to approach this exam. I'm happy to go through things like, if you're somebody who struggles with EMQs, we can go through EMQs, we can go through single best answers. I could be your buddy for your part 3 revision, for example. So if you're somebody who's struggling to find a buddy or needs support with part 3, I can offer you one-to-one support in terms of and giving you feedback, immediate feedback, and as to how you can improve and how to tackle those exams. So feel free. There's no structure as such to those lessons, because they'll be guided by you where you need most help. If you want to do more questions, we can do questions together. If you want to go over topics and lessons or guidelines that you're struggling with, or TOG articles that you absolutely are struggling with, we can go through those. I can make summaries for you and we can go through them. So these lessons are absolutely guided by you, and that's why they are personalized and they are offered on a one-to-one basis. I'm not doing any group lessons at the minute, because I just want to keep my expertise specialist for that one per individual who really needs it, and I just want to make a difference to that person's life. So I'm so happy to contribute to you, and to get you through this exam, because I completely understand what a pain it is to do these exams and to be revising for these exams on a multiple basis. And I just want to say that be kind to yourself. You are doing a lot, especially with a full-time job that most of us do, along with family and and just general life commitments. Revising for these exams on top is not easy. Um, with the current world crisis that the world is in, there's a lot to think about and to care about and to focus yourselves on. So revision is it becomes a bit of a challenge in these times. But those of you who are doing it out there, well done, keep it up, keep going. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. Don't beat yourself up about any failures. It just means that you need to pick yourself back up and get on the ladder again, and there will definitely be success. All you need to do is just slightly tweak your tactic, and you will get through. Well, I just want to also congratulate the people who've already passed the exam. Because this also is a big achievement, and now you'd be thinking about your part three exam, and I've also got some videos about part three on my channel, so do access those and benefit because it's just free revision. And absolutely do not give up, because there's nothing about giving up here. There's nothing that you need to lose hope with and just give up. There's nothing, there's no question about that, because you will get through. It's just a matter of time, it's just a matter of attempts, and it's just a matter of doing those questions, as I said. And you will absolutely have no trouble in passing this exam. Good luck to each and every one of you, and I hope to see some of you in my personalized one-to-one lessons, because I'm just so passionate about delivering to you on a one-to-one basis, because I think that's where you will benefit from these the most.